Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Now, let's be honest with ourselves for a moment. You've got that big project, that looming deadline, maybe an important email just sitting there, and what are you doing? Perhaps meticulously organizing your, sock drawer. Or, like me last week, suddenly deciding you have to clean every single window in the house right now. It's that universal feeling, isn't it? Doing absolutely anything but the actual task at hand. So if you've ever found yourself thinking, how do I just stop procrastinating? Well, you're definitely not alone. As we were digging into the material for this deep dive, it became really clear. This isn't just a minor annoyance. This is a common but pretty serious roadblock that, toughens our work, our health, relationships, and definitely our peace of mind. It's way more than just a simple bad habit.
That's a really crucial distinction to make right off the bat. Our mission today isn't about piling on more guilt over past delays. No. Instead, we want to peel back the layers. Really try to understand the psychology behind it, help you maybe pinpoint your specific triggers, and then, importantly, equip you with practical, proven strategies to break that cycle. The goal here is to move beyond just treating the symptom, We want to help you understand why you procrastinate, find those triggers, learn some real strategies, and build some long-term habits for better focus and, honestly, less stress.
I love that because, we're not just skimming the surface today. We're really going on a journey to understand the kind of emotional and psychological roots of procrastination, not just what it looks like on the outside. Our guide today is packed with insight, and I'm genuinely excited to share what we've uncovered with you. Okay, so when most of us think about procrastination, the first word that often comes to mind is laziness, right? Like we just don't have the willpower. But when we're looking into the sources, I was really struck by something that kind of challenges that whole idea. What's really going on under the surface when we find ourselves staring at a deadline and, suddenly alphabetizing the spice rack?
Yeah, you hit on a key point there. Laziness is rarely the real story. Our sources really emphasize that. What's often at the root are these deeper emotional and psychological things. We're talking about a genuine fear of failure, that worry that if you start, you might not do it well enough or even perfectly. Then there's perfectionism itself, which, can be absolutely paralyzing. It makes a task feel huge if it can't be flawless. And a big one is just feeling overwhelmed. The sheer size or complexity of what needs doing. Also, low motivation or energy, often tied to mental fatigue or just plain disinterest, and even sometimes just underdeveloped time management skills. They all play a part. And what's really fascinating, or maybe frustrating, is how this pattern becomes a loop, a self-reinforcing one. The more you avoid a task, the more anxious you feel about it. And ironically, the harder it then becomes to actually get started. It's actually, in a way, a self-protective move in the moment. It temporarily reduces that immediate discomfort.
Okay. So it gives you a little relief right then.
Exactly. And this is the crucial bit, it comes at a pretty significant cost to your long-term well-being and productivity. You're essentially trading that brief moment of relief for, prolonged stress down the line.
Okay, so not a character flaw, but a learned behavioral pattern, one that gives temporary emotional relief. That totally reframes the challenge, doesn't it? It suggests the key isn't just knowing what to do, but understanding that deeper emotional resistance that stops us. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? Our guide has some seriously smart strategies to turn that avoidance into action. And that's what we're moving into next, these proven strategies to break the cycle. Let's dive into the first one. It's arguably one of the most fundamental, yet maybe surprisingly powerful strategies, breaking tasks into smaller, actionable steps. It sounds almost too simple, but it can be transformative.
It sounds simple, but it directly tackles the brain's kind of instinctual response. When you look at a big, chunky task, your brain often sees it as a threat almost, or at least a huge commitment. And when the brain perceives a threat, avoidance is the default. So breaking it down makes it feel less threatening, much more approachable. The real insight here is by reducing the perceived threat of the task, you bypass that natural resistance. Starting becomes way easier.
Yeah, the guide gives such a clear example for this. Instead of just having write a 10-page paper on your to-do list, which for me feels like staring up at Mount Everest, honestly. You break it down. You start with, say, pick a topic, simple, then do 20 minutes of research, then write a basic outline, maybe draft the introduction, then perhaps write one section per day, and finally proofread and finalize. Each one of those steps on its own feels totally doable.
Precisely. Each step feels achievable. And as you complete one, you build a bit of momentum, a bit of motivation. This technique, it's actually rooted in principles similar to cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Research shows that chunking tasks like this significantly reduces anxiety and builds engagement, leading to more consistent progress over time.
Okay, breaking tasks down is brilliant for tackling that initial overwhelm, definitely. But once those smaller pieces are laid out, I think many of us still struggle with when to actually do them, which is where smart time management techniques come in, right? Because when time feels sort of unlimited or unstructured, we just drift.
Absolutely. Our guide suggests several really powerful methods to combat that unstructured feeling. The Pomodoro technique is a classic for a reason. You work focused for 25 minutes, take a short 5-minute break, repeat that maybe 4 times, and then you take a longer break, 15 to 30 minutes. This rhythm keeps you focused, but also prevents burnout. It's not just about managing the clock, it's about training your brain, training it to see work as these manageable sprints. That reduces anxiety and builds consistency. Other tools include time blocking, literally assigning specific hours to specific tasks in your calendar, and the Eisenhower matrix that helps you prioritize based on urgency and importance. Is it urgent and important? Do it now. Important but not urgent, schedule it. And of course, there are tons of productivity apps now. Things like Forest, Focus Booster, Toggled. They can help manage time and limit digital distractions too.
That structure for our time is so crucial. And just like we need structure for our schedule, it sounds like we also need crystal clear structure for what we're actually trying to achieve. Our guide really hammers home the importance of setting realistic and specific goals. I mean, vague goals. They just fuel uncertainty, don't they?
They absolutely do, yeah. When your goal is fuzzy, your path forward is fuzzy. And that just invites hesitation, procrastination. The guide gives a perfect example. Instead of a goal like, get better at writing, which is so vague, where do you even start?
Right.
Try something like, write 500 words every day for the next 14 days. That's clear. It's quantifiable. You know exactly what you need to do.
And the material really digs into why that specificity is so important, doesn't it?
It does. This is where the SMART framework is super helpful. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When you define your goals using these criteria, you know exactly what success looks like. You have clear benchmarks. The cognitive science behind this shows that specific goals don't just improve task performance. They actively build self-discipline by reducing ambiguity. And they let you track progress, which fosters confidence with each little win.
Okay, now this next strategy really shifted my perspective when I read it. Practice self-compassion, not self-criticism. And I think many people, kind of assume that being really harsh on myself, that critical inner voice would somehow motivate me, push me harder. But the research we looked at says it actually does the opposite. It increases stress, shame, and avoidance. It totally backfires.
It's incredibly counterintuitive, isn't it? Yet profoundly true. So instead of that self-condemning thought like, ugh, I'm so lazy for putting this off again, try replacing it. Maybe with something like, okay, I'm learning to manage my focus, and this is a challenging task for me right now. The guide encourages treating yourself like you would treat a good friend, offering encouragement, understanding, not judgment. There's research, actually, from places like the Greater Good Science Center, demonstrating that self-compassion increases motivation, builds resilience, and crucially, it reduces that emotional avoidance we talked about, all essential for breaking the procrastination cycle. The deep insight there is really that kindness, not harshness, creates the psychological safety you need for growth and sustained effort.
And building right on that self-compassion, strategy number 5 is about actively shifting your internal dialogue. Because let's be real, that self-talk, it really does shape your reality, how you approach everything, especially challenging tasks.
Precisely, yeah. Persistent negative self-talk strengthens those mental habits that directly feed procrastination. Think about those common unhelpful phrases we tell ourselves, oh, I never finish anything, or I just don't feel like it right now, or the classic, it needs to be perfect, or it's not even worth starting.
The perfectionism trap.
Exactly. These are massive mental roadblocks. So you need to actively replace them with more positive, more realistic alternatives. Things like progress is better than perfection, or I only need to take the first step, or even I choose to start now, even if it's messy. By consciously choosing more empowering thoughts, you create that psychological safety we mentioned, and you significantly reduce the mental resistance to just getting started.
That distinction between focusing on the whole enormous task versus just the next action, that feels incredibly powerful too, because looking at the entire project can just create overwhelm, mental paralysis almost. But what if we just focused on the very next small step?
This is a core idea from David Allen's Getting Things Done, or GTD methodology,
Yeah.
a really practical approach. The idea is to relentlessly identify the next physical, visible action, no matter how tiny it seems. Because that's the key to clarity and overcoming inertia.
Okay. Physical, visible action.
Yeah. So instead of thinking about the whole project, you ask yourself, what's the very next small step I can take right now?
Yeah.
That could literally be open a blank Google Doc, or read the assignment brief, or brainstorm 3 quick ideas, or even just send that one follow-up email.
Mm.
These actions are often so small they don't trigger the brain's usual avoidance response. They become almost impossible to procrastinate on.
Okay, that makes sense. And our environment plays such a huge role, too, which brings us neatly to number 7. Create a supportive environment. Your surroundings can either, boost your mental energy or totally drain it. Distractions, clutter, they often derail us without us even realizing it's happening.
Oh, it's absolutely true. Your surroundings are like a silent partner in your productivity, for better or worse. Physically, simple things help. Keep your workspace clean, organized. Maybe designate a specific focus zone that's free from clutter and distractions. And digitally, the recommendations are pretty clear. Turn off all non-essential notifications. Use website blockers if you need to, things like Freedom or Cold Turkey. Keep only the necessary tabs or apps open.
Close those extra tabs.
Exactly. You can even use noise-canceling headphones or play some ambient sound to create a better audio environment. It's really about strategically removing friction. So your willpower isn't constantly being chipped away before you even start. It allows your brain to focus on the task itself without battling all that unnecessary stimulation.
This next strategy connects the dots beautifully between our physical state and our mental state. Adopt healthy lifestyle habits. Low energy, brain fog. We've all felt it. And it makes it so much harder to concentrate, right? Our body and brain are absolutely interconnected.
They are inextricably linked, yeah. And it's often overlooked when we talk about procrastination. Our guide highlights some specific habits that can make a profound difference. Sleep is huge. Aim for 7-9 hours a night. Try to avoid screens right before bed. Maintain a consistent sleep schedule if you can.
Consistency helps.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For exercise, even just 10-15 minutes of daily movement can boost mental clarity. A short walk, some stretching, yoga, light cardio, whatever works for you. And nutrition plays a role too. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods, vegetables, fruit, healthy fats, lean protein. Stay hydrated. And try to avoid loading up on excess caffeine and sugar, which can lead to energy crashes. Basically, a well-rested, nourished body supports a focused, motivated mind. It creates that foundational energy you need to overcome inertia.
Now, sometimes, even with all these amazing tools and mindset shifts, you might still feel completely stuck, just spinning your wheels. And that brings us to strategy number 9. Understand and address chronic procrastination. If you feel like you're constantly stuck, even when trying these tools, there might be something deeper going on.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
If procrastination isn't just occasional, but a persistent, debilitating pattern, it could be a sign of an underlying issue that needs more specific help. Possible causes often include things like ADHD. ADHD frequently involves challenges with executive functions, planning, organizing, starting tasks. Also, time blindness, emotional regulation issues, and that difficulty initiating tasks. It could also be linked to anxiety or depression. These can lead to emotional exhaustion, a deep fear of failure, or low self-worth, all making it hard to start. And perfectionism, that really intense fear of producing anything less than perfect, is another common culprit we see. In these cases, it's really vital to seek professional help. That can mean talking with a therapist, maybe an ADHD coach, or a counselor, and getting properly screened for ADHD or related conditions if these symptoms persist and significantly impact your life. Recognizing when it's more than just a habit, when it might be a symptom, that's the crucial first step towards getting truly tailored and effective support.
And finally, strategy number 10, use accountability and social support. Sometimes, let's face it, we just need that external nudge, that little extra push from someone else can make all the difference. Our guide points out that when other people are aware of your goals, you gain this powerful layer of external motivation you wouldn't have otherwise.
That external push can be incredibly powerful, yeah. So if you're for overcoming internal resistance when your own motivation is low, our guide suggests several really practical ways to leverage this. You can find an accountability partner, a friend, a colleague, a mentor, someone who checks in on your goals regularly.
Like a check-in, buddy.
Exactly. Or join some kind of group support. Maybe study groups, online challenges, co-working spaces, even virtual ones like FocusMate exist now, offering a sort of silent co-working environment online. You can also make public commitments sometimes. Share your goals, maybe on social media if that works for you, or with a coach. The real benefit here is that social accountability dramatically increases your commitment level. It helps you stay on track, and it offers crucial encouragement precisely when your internal motivation might be flagging.
Wow, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground today. So many great strategies. And I know it can feel like, okay, where do I even start? It can seem like a lot to implement all at once. So the guide also includes this really helpful quick start checklist, immediate actionable steps. You absolutely don't have to tackle everything today, but here are 7 things the guide suggests you could do right now to begin shifting your relationship with procrastination. Okay, first, write down the next small step for your biggest, most daunting task, just that one tiny step. Second, set a 25-minute Pomodoro timer and just get started on something, anything. Third, take literally 2 minutes to declutter your immediate desk or work area, clear some space. Fourth, turn off notifications and maybe block distracting websites just for a set period, like the next hour. Fifth, catch one negative thought you have about yourself or the task and consciously replace it with a more positive, realistic one, like we talked about. Sixth, take a short walk, get outside, refresh your mind. Even 10 minutes can make a huge difference. And finally, seventh, text a friend or your accountability partner and just ask them to check in on your progress later today. Just those 7 small actions can genuinely make an enormous difference in building that initial momentum.
Those are excellent starting points, really practical for immediate impact. And speaking of quick starts, that brings up a question that comes up a lot. What exactly is the 2-minute rule? Have you heard of that one?
I think so, but refresh my memory.
Okay, so the 2-minute rule is this brilliantly simple productivity hack. It has 2 main variations. First, if a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, just do it immediately. Don't even put it on a list. Just get it done.
Ah, right, like answering a quick email or putting a dish away.
Exactly. The second variation is especially useful for getting started on those bigger tasks you're avoiding. You commit to studying or working on it for just 2 minutes. That's it. The psychological trick is, once you've overcome that initial inertia, that resistance to starting, you're actually far more likely to just keep going. It makes starting feel way less intimidating by lowering that commitment barrier way down. Another common question we see is, okay, but what is really the main cause of procrastination? And as we discussed earlier, it's often deeply rooted in that emotional avoidance. Avoiding tasks that trigger feelings of anxiety, uncertainty, self-doubt, or just feeling overwhelmed. It's very rarely pure laziness. It's more like a self-protective coping mechanism that provides temporary relief.
But at a long-term cost.
Precisely. At the cost of your well-being and actually getting things done. And then there's the question, is procrastination just a form of ADHD? Well, while it's not exclusive to ADHD, procrastination is indeed a very common and often quite debilitating symptom for many individuals with the condition. This is mainly because of those challenges with executive functions. We mentioned planning, starting tasks, managing time, regulating emotions, which are central to ADHD. So, if procrastination is persistent, if it significantly impairs your daily life, and if you suspect other ADHD symptoms might be present, it's definitely worth talking to a mental health professional or your doctor for a proper assessment. And finally, you might have heard people talk about the 5-4-3-2-1 rule.
Oh yeah, Mel Robbins, right.
Yeah, that's the one. Popularized by Mel Robbins. It's a very direct, almost physical, mental trick designed to interrupt hesitation and spur action. The idea is when you feel yourself hesitating, overthinking, starting to stall, you just count backward out loud or in your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you physically move or immediately start the action you were putting off. It acts as a powerful pattern interrupt. It kind of bypasses your brain's tendency to hit the brakes and pushes you straight into motion. It helps train your brain for immediate action.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive today. So many practical insights. It's become so clear listening to this that procrastination isn't some fixed character flaw that you're just stuck with forever. It's a habit, it's a pattern. And thankfully, habits and patterns can absolutely be changed.
That really is the powerful takeaway, isn't it? Connecting this to the bigger picture. By consistently applying these strategies, maybe not all at once, but picking a few and practicing them, you really can start to replace that avoidance with action. You can replace fear with clarity and that feeling of overwhelm with a genuine sense of momentum. And remember that final thought from the guide, which I think just perfectly encapsulates everything. Progress starts with action, not perfection. That's such a profound shift in mindset. Moving away from chasing some impossible ideal and focusing instead on just taking those achievable next steps.
That truly is the key nugget, isn't it? Such a simple phrase, but it holds so much power. So as you go about your day after listening to this, maybe ask yourself, What's one small step you can take today? Right now, even. One small step to start shifting your own relationship with procrastination. What does that idea, progress, not perfection, actually look like for you in this moment? Our guide even encourages exploring additional support if you feel you need it, like maybe taking a quick 2-minute mental wellness quiz online to get personalized recommendations. Things focused on brain health, focus, emotional resilience. Because ultimately, this isn't just about ticking boxes and finishing tasks, it's about helping you move past procrastination so you can truly start thriving. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.